Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour on today, Friday. It's April 1st. It's April Fool's today. We are excited to be here. I don't think we have anything weird planned for the show in terms of April Fool's, but you never know. But before we get into anything, let's do some intros. We will start with Chuck.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, it's April Fool's. I just had to do something. I'm Chuck Tomasi, Senior Developer Advocate at ServiceNow. Been here since mid-2010. Was a customer for a couple of years before that, doing our wonderful implementation and building cool stuff, winning an award signed by Fred Luddy from ServiceNow. And before that, it goes way back into the dark ages of computers when you had to flip switches and maybe not quite that far back, but pretty darn close. Punch cards. I'll claim knowledge and ownership of punch cards. Kylan.
Hi, I'm Kylan. I'm Kylan Fullenwider. I am an inbound principal product manager on the App Engine Studio team. Mostly focused on the template stuff that we're going to go over today, which I'm really excited about. I'm coming up on, crazy to hear this, coming up on my 8 years here at ServiceNow. I've worked on, before App Engine Studio, I worked on Workspace, Service Portal, and then the support.servicenow.com. I actually come from a customer as well. I helped roll out ServiceNow in IT. So before ServiceNow, I was in IT for about 10 years.
When's your anniversary date?
May 5th, I think. Early May.
Go look on Surf. Jeff.
And I'm Jeff. I'm a software engineer at ServiceNow. I joined at the beginning of 2020, so right before the pandemic hit. I'm really grateful I got to come in the office and meet everyone face to face before everything shut down. I work on the template framework team, which is sort of the magic that makes AES go. And I worked a little bit on AES before it released when the team was a lot smaller. And I'm just really happy to be on this team. It's a lot of fun working on, not just code for applications, but code for applications and that nice level of abstraction.
Awesome. And my name is Brad Tilton. I'm a senior developer advocate here with the developer program at ServiceNow. I've been an employee for a little over 5 years, but I've been in the ecosystem since 2008. I'm excited to get into today's show, but before we do that, we have to introduce our special friends. Chuck.
So last week I had the Firestone Walker Brewing Company 805, and while this may look like they just reversed the colors on the label, this one actually says Cerveza. And I said, honey, did they change the label? Is that it? He said, no. This one's more like a shandy kind of thing. They added some lime or something. It's a lot lighter. The other one's darker. You can't really see through the bottle, but I can see through the bottle. And I'm interested in trying that out. So different flavor, same company. We'll see what happens.
I really like 805. I really like 805. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, the standard 805 I like a lot. And
yeah.
I think we gave it like a 3.75 or a 4.0 last week. So this would be curious.
Well, I watched the last one and Earl had a Modern Times. So I was going to do Modern Times. But after talking to Brad, I settled on a special edition Speedway Stout. from AleSmith here in San Diego. This is the vanilla and cinnamon one. They release a bunch of like special Speedway stouts. So we'll see how this goes because this is a 12%. So it'll be fun talking after a while.
She's not driving today.
Working from home, you know.
That's a big can of 12% too.
That'll hit you hard. I've got a Pure Project here. It's the Valley of Abundance. Pure Project is another local brewery in San Diego. And this is cool. It's a smoothie style beer. So check this out. It's got a great color. It's nice and creamy. Wow. Kind of a trendy beer these days, but it's a little early here and you can almost trick yourself into thinking it's healthy.
It's even in a ServiceNow glass. That looks like it's going to go down way too fast, Jeff.
I've got another one stacked up, so don't worry.
Nice.
How about you, Brad?
All right. I've got a Founders KBS, and it is barrel aged, of course. So, yeah.
There's a brewery in Michigan called KBC, Keweenaw Brewing Company. So every time you say KBS, I'm like, no, wait.
It's Founders is the brewery.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. Chuck, why don't you let us know what we're going to be doing today? I know it's going to be AES template related because we've got all the people here.
First, we're opening a beer. There we go. Mission accomplished. That's a success. Take a drink. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. We'll come back to that as we go. So, yes, as the title implies, we're going to be building an AES template or attempting to build a template. And with these two here, I don't see how we can go wrong unless they've done something seriously wrong because the product's out and it can't.
I don't write bugs, so it's fine.
What do we blame the testers at this point? If anything goes wrong, it's probably on us. So not only are we going to try and build a template, but we're also going to build an app from that template. So that's going to be our acid test. Is like, can we make an app? And I'll be honest, I haven't given a whole lot of thought to the use case for the template, let alone the app from the template. So this is going to be a group ideation thing, but I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time getting real detailed on, well, we need 3 tables and a many-to-many and blah, 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 blah. So let's just jump right into it. I think I've got my screen share up there for you.
Oh, that's me.
That was nice. And that's the last I'm going to see of that browser tab. So good old launcher page here. I'm logged into an instance cleverly donated by Kylan, whether she knows it or not.
Let's hope I didn't do something strange to the instance.
Yeah, this is when the demo data gets real fun. They were just talking about Z-booting the other one. Like, yes, please. When you have app names like ASDF, people are getting tired. So we're
interesting about the ASDF is that there's actually patterns in like how people type that linguistics have been able to track trends in nonsense, basically.
So before we get into it, I think Phil has a good question where we may want to set the stage on what are templates and why do we even have this functionality?
Yeah, well, it's a good thing we have some product managers here to explain that to us.
So I keep talking at the same time as I don't know if there's a delay or something. I'm sorry. But yeah, templates are really about moving the start line for closer to the goal so that you're starting from a spot where you can build out like that scaffolding from an app or best practices. So we know a lot of IT developers or app developers are asked to roll out the same application multiple times with varied configurations. And our out-of-box templates are fully built out little applications that you can do that with. But what we introduced in the newest release is a custom template where our customers can create their own and set up like a best practice or a learning app for new developers, or advanced developers can do the same 5 things they do every time, set up the scaffolding, or as Jeff said, bootstrapping, which is a word that we traced where it came from. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, bootstrapping an application. So if you've ever used something like Yeoman or Facebook's Create React app, everyone knows that it's easier to like modify something that exists and doesn't quite do what you want it to do than build something from the ground up. And that's really what templates help a developer, understand and get into the world of app development on ServiceNow.
So this could be if your organization like knows, hey, half the like low code apps that we build, we always have a table and a flow and a catalog item, and instead of recreating the wheel every time, we're just going to start people from that spot. And then they can customize it. I like that.
Yeah. In some ways, I think about it as automating the application setup tasks. So we don't have to, and reducing those repetitive steps, because you do it once and then templatize it and you can just hit a button and it does it every time.
How many app admin roles have you ever made in your life?
Yep.
Every app has an admin, right?
Yeah, roles is a great one because it's also a thing that it's like, oh, there's roles. I should probably like add security to my app. It's rather than forgetting and then at the end being like, oh, I probably need some sort of roles.
Tables need details.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might want to test it too and document it, but that's optional.
That's always been my stance.
Okay,
right,
so
Chuck.
I've gone into App Engine Studio. No surprise on how I got there. Hopefully, for the people that are watching, went into all App Engine Studio, and up comes the other lovely tab. So there we are. And I scroll down. It says, "Hi, Chuck." And I went, "Hi, computer." We have our templates here that several of them came out of the box, but we can see Kylan's been creating some of her own. I like the 404 with cats. And in each one of those, we can see what are the details of this app, which is kind of cool, what this app contains. And hopefully we can get to that. And if we want to use it, we can go, yes, let's use that one. But let's back up a sec, because we can also get to those from templates. And up here, let's see if my little cursor pointer is going to play with me today. It does. We've got create new template. And I want that, right? So we got some tabs in here that I haven't explored much. Available, inactive, failed, and generating. Okay, hopefully you don't see too much in there very often.
Yeah, creating a template is an asynchronous process. If you have a very large template or large app, it can take a little while. So it can be in generating for a minute or two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and those tabs only appear, the tabs and the buttons a button is new, and they only appear for the app template author role that we've introduced with custom templates. Just people who have access to run the templates will still see the list of available to use templates, only active ones.
Well, let's create a new one then. Oh, hey, we have a choice, existing or start from scratch. Okay. Let's start from scratch, just for the fun of it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I believe I do have an app that I can use as a template from an existing one, but we'll save that to the end as like a challenge exercise. You were going to say,
this is really helpful in the use case of setting up like a best practices app. So instead of documenting your setup for an app, you can go in and create from scratch one that has your best practices and save it to a template.
So I'm coming up with a use case gap, but the closest thing to me is a beer, so I'm going to make a food and drink template. What do you think?
I love it.
While we're doing this, I have a random question. Can you create an app from a template and then add stuff to it and then create another app create a template from an app and then create a template from that app, like if you changed it?
Yes, you could go infinite loop on this if you wanted.
You can go as deep as you want. You just can't create a template from a template.
Let's grab an image here.
Makes sense.
That's a little too much.
You're not going to see much when I pick this, but this has What? How come I can't pick any of my PNGs or anything?
Got to be an SVG.
It has to be an SVG for the template. Interesting. Well, since I don't have any of those on my desktop, never mind. Okay. Description is mandatory. I think that's important.
I like that.
So let's tell everyone how much we love this. And you have to tab out of there, so it recognizes that it's there. And I assume it gives you some random graphic if you don't specify one?
Yeah, some branding.
Like GitHub. Okay. Go to template dashboard. Well, this looks like the same flow as we've had for AES building an app, right? This is an application template.
The
Where
view
does it
looks
take me if I learn more? It takes me to the doc screen. Okay. So,
And
go ahead.
I was just going to ask, in this case, you're basically just building an app here, right? And then
that's essentially what it is. That's what's backing the template.
Okay.
So let's create a table. Get started. Normally I wouldn't be scrolling, but I want to make sure my font was big enough so nobody told me, make your font bigger.
You didn't want to get checked?
That's a drink, right?
Table label. Oh goodness, what are we're making this generic to a food or a drink or a restaurant or something. What do we call our individual items? Please not item.
Are these the rating, or these are the actual items? I was gonna say.
Thing.
Ingredient.
Phil says ingredient.
Perfect.
Too granular, but we'll see.
Ingredient doesn't matter. We're not sending this to production anyway.
There are two hard problems in programming: naming things and off by one, or three hard problems in programming: naming things and off by one.
Sound like the Spanish Inquisition from Monty Python. Our three biggest problems are
of the things.
I was off by one in my joke.
Making up data, naming things, and off by one. Four. Our four biggest problems. Okay, let's take a look at this table. We're doing this from scratch because I just didn't prepare with a spreadsheet or anything. Per live coding happy hour guidelines, no good demo deserves preparation. Okay, name. I think name would be a good field, right?
Always
String of 40, display value. Yep. Okay. Active. I like putting reference qualifiers in there later. No, not a string. Who picked string and where's my...
You gotta type it.
True, false. I was clicking the wrong thing. That's the Icelandic way, apparently, of spelling true, false. It's a true, false field. The default display is true. That's an easy one to forget. And then a rating. Sure, why not? And the rating would be some kind of number, right? Integer. What is a floating point integer? That sounds contradictory.
It's a decimal, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, we already have decimal and floating point. Are we not confused
enough?
enough?
Want a decimal.
Why do I want a decimal? You want to do like the quarter rating?
Quarter ratings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to get granular.
Now my memory is coming back. There's a difference between decimal and floating point. One of them does not work well in Flow Designer.
Floating point is more of an approximation, which is why you should never use it for a currency because you'll get rounding errors.
That sounds like voice of experience there, dude.
Yeah. I've worked on financial software before, and it's you'd be surprised.
Okay.
So an interesting field to add here for talking about the app templates would be a reference. So on tables, we sort of have, with scoped apps, we sort of have two different reference things, right? We can reference a table that's in the scoped app you're in, or you can reference a table that's outside the scoped app you're in. And so reference is interesting because with the templates, we handle that reference. So it updates if it references a table that's in the app, because when you run the template, it'll create a new table that has a new name, and this reference needs to point to that new table. But if it's outside the app,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so reference is interesting. If it's outside the app, it needs to not be updated because it still will point to sysuser or something like that.
So if I was going to do a reference to sysuser, for example, here.
Yeah, we should do sysuser, and then we should create like a lookup table or something also.
Wow. That had to be an interesting challenge to overcome.
One of many.
And these kind of cases across our metadata is what we work through as we are working on supporting everything that is in a scoped app or available in scoped apps today.
Okay, so we've got a fairly simple table. Now, here's another thing I wanted to find out, and this probably won't be present in the template, but under the access, why are we defaulting to open access to other applications when I believe when you create a table through the regular Studio, it's read-only for all application scopes?
So this is something we can talk to the table building team about.
Yeah, that seems a bit too open. We were just having this discussion earlier today as we were coming up with like citizen developer training programs. Like, hey, do we ever talk about scopes? And I went, I wonder how this defaults. Oh, that seems odd. Okay. Anyway, you wanted another table, Brad?
Yeah, let's create a lookup table. I'm also just really curious on like if you have a flow and like when you said the reference thing, I'm like, man, there's a lot of different places where you can reference tables where they could be in the app or could be out of the app, like Flow Designer or from a script somewhere. Like, do we account for all of that or just like some of it or?
We do account for most of it flows are supported. So if you reference a table inside the flow, it should point to the new table if that table is inside your app. And in scripts, there's a set of things that we look for, like we'll replace the scope name, table names, role names, UXF URLs, like paths that experiences are available at. So script fields, it's a wild west out in a script. There's a lot of things where a user can do.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
But most of the basic use cases should be supported. So let's give it a try and see, right?
All right. So we need another table. What would reference our ingredient table?
Category? I don't know. I feel like, or you want to reference the ingredient table?
Beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
Beer has ingredients.
Yeah.
But we would be using this template to rate a beer or rate.
Yeah, you could do a
burritos. How about
relationship table that kind of links users with ingredients? And
some sort of grouping or.
Instead of having the rating on the ingredient, have the rating on this table, and then have a reference to a user and a reference to an ingredient and a rating number.
Oh, you're changing my data model in midstream. Okay, I like it. It would work. You made a homemade many-to-many.
Yeah. What's interesting about if a category table or like an enum table, the tables you're making are not metadata tables; they're data tables, right? And the data in those tables does not come over with the app template. So if you do have a category table and you add a bunch of categories to it and then create a template out of it, the rows of those categories won't be in the new app. You'll have to add them after running the template.
All right, so we're going to put that there, and then we'll put the rater. I was going to call it rating, but I don't want a rating on a rating table. I don't like naming fields and tables the same thing.
I like it if you can have the app and the table and the field all the same. So you end up with
shut up.
S&C rating.
Loner. Now check this out. When you type in user now, look what comes up to the top or near top.
So nice.
It's like, yes.
That was a sticking point.
Okay, let's go back to our ingredient table and remove the rating and rater. So this really just has a name and an active field. That's lovely. That took longer than I should feel. Rater, gone. Okay, so we have our simple ingredient table. We have a table that references it and then something else. So that'll prove our point that Phil wants to see.
Why don't we configure the form a little bit on one of those tables at least?
All right, let's do, sure.
I just really like Form Builder, and
hey, there is no default form. That's interesting.
What? Yeah, that is the default form, right?
Yeah, but there's no fields on it.
You didn't mark any of your fields for display on this one, did you?
Yeah, I did. Name.
Huh.
Name.
Oh, you did do name, huh?
Fire up your bug reports.
Did we just find a bug?
But it's not a bug with app template, so.
Where's Dave, Kylie?
Yeah, I know it creates a default view for the, for an app. All right.
Yeah,
actually, let's do a 2-column layout. Hold on. Where's our layout here?
I just created an app in AES yesterday, and I think it gave me all my fields on my form.
Components, section. No, I don't want a section. No, I don't want a formatter. How do I go to 2-column?
Click on the, where it says ingredient, and then on the right. All the way on the right.
This arrow?
Keep going right. Keep going right.
Oh, there. Look, it says 2 columns. That's nice. I knew I saw it somewhere. Don't drink and code, kids. Let's do the other one since we know there's no form there. That's cool. Look, you can do two at a time. I am just digging this now. We have our rater. Yeah, whatever. 2-column. Rater, must have missed. And we can dot walk. Look at how easy it is to dot walk these days.
I love the visual on the dot walking. The visual is wonderful.
That is crazy. And I am going to also say, both of these should be met. That's an interesting value. Wonder where that came from. Here's some sample data.
I think it's just showing us what that could look like, right?
Yep. We got UI policies over here, and I love that, we've got ACLs and business rules and whatnot here. And if you go into ACLs, it says, you are not, this is all the ones that apply. But I don't think you can edit these because I don't have security admin turned on right now. Okay, back to where we were. Save. We got a couple tables. Should we do a flow?
We should do a flow.
We should.
I don't know what you got an idea for a flow?
We should run it. This is the ingredients rating.
When somebody gives a rating,
we could just punt and log something.
We could log the whole world.
I was thinking any beer that gets rated over a certain amount notifies all the users that it's a good beer.
Ooh, to try. I like that.
Okay.
But we want it to look up to at least 2 different tables, one in the app and one out of the app. I want to see
you could look up the user who rated it and said, this person says this beer is great.
Ooh, yeah.
You want to do I would dot walk to that, but okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, dot walk to the
continue.
Table.
I love designing and building at the same time. That's the agility of this platform, people. This instance doesn't want to play agility, though.
Oh, this is good. We could calculate an average rating.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. You need some sort. Would you put that on another table?
Well, there's a lot of ways you could do it. You could do it with a calculated field, but we could just do it with a flow.
Oh, right. On the ingredient field, you could do an aggregate.
Sure. Copy it down.
Okay. Anyway, when a rating is created. Oh, great. There it is. We had to pick a table that had something in common with other tables. We don't, and we could just do the condition here. Ooh, and the value, TU, where's my value field? There it is. Is greater than, or is 4.0. Our action will be, what did you say? You want to send an email to everybody? That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Notify the instance.
Do we have a notify?
Yeah. And just do a lookup records on the user table and send a notification to each user.
We could send it to the other raters. I mean, initially it wouldn't be a whole long table.
Carlene's out.
I'm going back to logging a message because I don't like any of your ideas.
You don't like our ideas.
They're not enterprise friendly. Okay. Top rated. Okay, we need to dot walk to the rating record.
I'm sorry, that comment from Mark Scott is really funny.
We didn't say what we're rating. We forgot our other reference field. We're not referencing the ingredient.
Drop the ball.
Dumbass. Let's go back to our rating table. Yeah, we're just giving ratings on nothing, apparently.
Just in a good mood. 5 stars.
We added 2 fields. What? Oh,
Yeah, the value.
so Chuck gave this thing a value. Okay. Ingredient. And this is a reference. Try that again. Why? You know, it didn't used to default to string. Maybe that's my problem. I got used to just clicking and getting that list of data types. So congratulations on defaulting to string. You saved me a bunch of time, but now you're confusing my fingers.
All change is bad.
How much do you like your job?
I use forms and lists. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say I use pencil and paper.
We go back to punch cards.
Okay, now I believe I need to save and reload this because it's not going to know what my template, my data table structure is from here. It's just not. It's not. Tell me it's not. Yeah, ingredients not on here. Okay, so
Dang caching.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh yeah, Flow has to reload.
But I'm not going to reload the whole page because that's going to reload all the tabs. Okay, log, top rated, record, yay! Ingredient. It has a display value, so theoretically I can just use the reference. Has been rated. Ooh. Okay, do that again. Not the rater, I want the value. Yep, it's the exciting part, kids. Watching someone do the same thing 4 times. Save. We don't have any demo data because this isn't a real app. How could you test?
Should you activate it and then we could actually put a record in?
It's a template. It's not a real app.
Well.
Oh, go on.
I mean, I'm sure. So if you activate and then go to the table and hit preview, I bet you get a form or a list view of the table.
So, okay, hold on here. You bring up a good point.
You should be careful, you know, especially if you're using like a timer trigger flow or something. If you do activate that flow, it will run. The template is being backed by a real app. So it's not like this isn't a real flow. This flow absolutely is very real.
Well, it's a real flow, but I'm assuming if I start putting in data like this, some actual data records.
You have a real table. You have a real flow.
Okay.
And that data will
but
be
it's not going to be it's not going to be part of the template.
It is not. But the way the template works is it serializes that app into a set of updates, essentially.
Okay.
And then that template can apply those updates to, whatever instance you're running that template on.
Is there a way to include demo data with the template?
There are some workarounds that we can talk about. A template underneath the hood is running a flow, and the flow is creating some metadata. And what you can do is you can edit that flow that the template references. And after it creates everything in the template, you can say, okay, now we want to populate that template with some data inside the template flow. And if you're confused, it is abstraction upon abstraction. It's a flow that creates metadata, and some of that metadata are flows, which creates more data.
And a lot of that is behind the scenes where I'm looking at having support for demo data in our app templates in the future roadmap. Like an easier way to do it instead of having to go in and modify the backend.
So does the flow have to be activated to get copied in the template?
No, it doesn't have to be active.
Okay.
But you would have a template with an inactive flow, which may be what you want.
Might be what you want, yeah. Especially if you don't want that flow to run right away, for timed flows or things that could affect instance performance.
Okay, we have two tables and a flow. Are we done yet? We have a template, and we're 20 minutes to the finish line. So
did the flow work? I didn't see the test.
Yes.
Okay.
And because it ignored the trigger, even though my rating was 3.75, it ignored the trigger and said, here, I'm going to log this anyway. It's one action. That confused me. I'm like, wait, it's not above 4.
It's a course test.
Let's do it. Let's create a template.
Save template? Is that what my next action is?
Yes.
Yeah. In this flow, you sort of staged the changes. You created the app, and now you're saving it to the template. We do a pre-scan because we don't support all the metadata, and so the screen you have here is that some of the records will be skipped because they don't make sense in every application that is created from this template. So it doesn't make sense to have deleted the records for the deleted items, and table subscriptions are created every time you create a table. So those will already be created, and these are the ones for the tables you already had. So
I'm glad you explained that. I panicked when I first saw this.
Other things we skip include ATF, the Automated Test Framework, and guided setup.
And I think there was like a legacy mobile app template table something. There was something from SysSG that was ignored as well.
The old mobile UI.
Yeah, there's a knowledge base for this.
So we did actually make an improvement in the next release to have a little link there that takes you to the docs and tells you more about what's listed in that screen. But skipped is just giving you a warning, and you can continue.
Now there are some things that are there blocking things? These are just skipped. Are there things that will block?
There are things that will block, things that we just outright don't support. Like right now, like decision tables, for example, as of San Diego, are not supported for templates.
Okay.
So if you have a decision table in your app, there are some things like with Automated Test Framework, we could slice that off of your app, and we still are confident you've got a working app. But if we don't bring over a decision table, your app is, hosed maybe. Like we don't want to let someone create half of an app.
Now, Colin, what was it that we ran into a few days ago with the dictionary override? Was that a skipped element?
That was denied. So that one was a block as well.
Okay, so dictionary overrides are a block, and we got in trouble for that because somewhere in the form builder, someone said, I want the number field on my extended task table to be read-only, which seems odd that it's not by default anyway, but and that was a blocker, which kind of bothered me. Is that being looked into, dictionary overrides?
Yes, that is number one on my list for this upcoming release.
All right, good. Number one, I scored.
Number one.
Okay, now this is in the inactive list,
Mhm.
so I can't use it, can I? It's inactive.
Well, as the template author right now, you can.
Oh, I see. Wait a
just
minute. What's this service-now.com? Are we still living in 2009? That's our app repo friendly store name, by the way. It's getting it from a system property.
Is that because we didn't publish the template, or did we publish?
Well, yeah, I thought we had to activate it or something. But yeah, you're saying we can use this.
That's in place so that, as the template author, you might want to test your template before. When you make it active, it's going to show up for everyone on the instance.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. So how do we make it active?
Use template? Oh.
You might have to hit the 3 dots in the upper right. Let's see.
Oh, that upper right.
There you go.
Yeah,
Edit
so
template.
edit template.
Publish.
No, there was a few down. It was on that drop down.
Is there a difference between publish here and activate on the drop down?
Oh,
Yes, publish uses the publish flow for AES to publish the template, because the app template is a scoped app behind the scenes. And so when you publish, if you have the permissions to publish, you can publish the template to app repo, or if you have permission to publish it to the store as well. If you don't have permissions, that will not be there. I just have this instance set up that way. Activate template is here. Properties gives you the ability to edit that screen that you opened, the detail screen.
right.
Okay.
So I could put an icon on there if I find an SVG.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an idea. I don't know if this is on the roadmap or not, but in order to build a library of common use cases, why not allow people to publish their templates to the store or share, have this community of templates?
That is 100% on the map, I believe.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Okay, so I want to activate this. Once activated, users and groups with the AES will be able to view and use your template. Well, good. That's what I want to do.
And templates are metadata themselves. So it is right. That template is contained within an app. If you went to the sysapp table, you'd be able to see the app that houses your template.
Wait, okay. I want to see that.
So you could publish that.
Share this tab.
Corey says you could publish your template to the store.
Yeah. We have both. We opened up both publish to app repo and publish to the store.
So you see those two
food and drink rating. I have 2 of them. One
you do. This is where it can get kind of hairy. One of them is the app that houses your template. It's the app that the template lives inside. The other is the app that backs your template. That's when we were just doing all that creation, you were creating an app, and which we call the source app for the template.
Okay, and the way you tell the difference, I'm going to guess this is the app itself.
This looks like
the source app.
Yep.
And the second one.
We should probably
when you look at these, these are really interesting. It's like all variables and payloads.
Variables and payloads. So the payloads are, like I say, are the serialized records that make up the template.
This is where it gets really hardcore, people.
This is deep into the platform.
That's a good point, though, because I can imagine people doing this and then looking at the app table and being confused. So
AES does a lot to kind of obfuscate that from users.
Yeah.
To make it look like, hey, you're just editing a template.
Well, that's interesting. It has a dependency on guided setup legacy. Curious. Okay. Anyway, back to AES. Let's use this sucker.
let's do it.
Okay, so under templates, I have available to use. There's my food and drink rating. Use template. Let's call this, yeah. This one I can use a JPEG on. Haha. Was that a victory? Do I get a drink for that?
You absolutely get to drink for that, Chuck.
Done. Okay, go to app home. And I get my 2 tables. Yay! Which I could relabel or label. And here's where you wanted to see the references, right? Because it's not referencing X underscore blah, blah, blah table. It's got to reference my new scope. So hang on a sec. This thing has, no, where's my properties? This is now called, where do you get the table name in here now? Got my table. Table property. There. Okay, this table is called X under SNC beer rating. What was the other one called?
The other was food and drink.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Food and D0.
Let's test the flow and see if it works the same way.
Brad just likes. Well, we got to get some data in here. So let's get an ingredient. So preview. Share this tab. New record. Name. We're going to use the same one. Firestone 805. Cerveza.
While we're doing this, audience, if you have any questions, now is a good time to be thinking about that. What just happened? Did you stop sharing, Chuck?
It stopped sharing the tab that I had on there before. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, I can only share a tab at a time, and I must have closed the tab. Chrome tab.
That was an Earl move to put our faces up with no warning.
We'll share this one. Okay, are we back?
There we go.
Okay, let's do a preview on the rating table. You want to actually test the flow. You think it's activated.
Yeah, I just want to, like, if we test the flow, do the references still work? Like, I assume that everything works.
We can say, what is rater reference? Rater points to SNC beer rating. Value is whatever. Wait, did we not save our table before? We're missing the ingredient. Oops. Well, this is interesting. We have to go back and change our template. We have to delete this application and start over. We failed. We missed our reference field. Our template is faulty. That's sad. I closed the tab again. Sorry.
Hello again.
Surprise. That's my fault. Driving error. I want to share App Engine Studio tab. StreamYard is giving me headaches today.
Carlos asks, does the template need a user role? I think that's more of a design question around this template. I would think in general, you probably want roles.
You want to put some security on this thing. Yep.
Is the question to have the user security within the template, or to be able to use the template to create an app?
Good question. Take a few seconds for latency to catch up, because they're seeing what we say about 20 seconds later. I can't test this, Brett. Well, I guess I could. The flow doesn't care who the user is. It's just going to be like this crazy data pill. Let's go make a rating.
Let's do it.
Okay. Anyway, back to where we were. Share this tab.
Does it apply to scope namespace every reference, table name, and role? Yes, it does.
Rater, truck, value, 4.25. I'm going sunny day first.
And there's your ingredient. I think it wasn't on the farm view.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There. We'll reference our Firestone.
Now,
Right.
had you actually missed that, you could have gone back to that template, to that 3-dot menu and say edit template and gone back and fixed it and reran it, or saved it and then reran it again.
Yep.
So if you ran it again,
You get a
we
new
had
app.
a question at the very beginning. Can you update an existing app that was created from a template, or once the app's created from the template, it's done? So let's say, I have a template. I've created 10 apps out of it. I want to change something. I probably have to go change those 10 apps, right? Instead of changing the template and updating
Right.
the app.
There's no like applying just your changes to the
Ooh,
apps.
that can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you wanted to see if the flow ran, so we should have a log entry, right?
Yes. So we mentioned
the
that
flow active.
all of the references get updated wherever they are for the most part, and so I just want to show that the flow still works and runs correctly. Yeah.
Okay. I think we need, like flow, we need to dot walk to the display value field. It doesn't pick up, for whatever reason, it doesn't honor display value on reference fields. See, this should have said Chuck Tomasi for the user.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's got a value, so
it's got a value, which is good. And because we didn't put one into the record when it was created, because we don't have the field on the form, that's where that problem lies. I want to show one other thing, and that is, let me close that. I want to try and create a template from an existing app, because I do have one of those loaded on here from an exercise we were working on for CreatorCon. So applications is student permission. I made this app on another instance, brought it over here in an update set, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so apparently there's some deleted application files. Answers is another one. What is that? Sys wizard or wizard under answer something table?
Yeah, surveys.
Catalog people will know about that. No, it's like your catalog variables.
Okay.
Or your catalog questions and answers. Yeah, it's
like
this has a record producer associated with it. Let's set up this template. Let's call this permission for students. Now, would this be another good practice, is to put template on here, so when you see it in the sys under app table, it would stand out from the app itself?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Any other best practices you want to throw at us while we were wandering around lost?
Keep your templates tightly focused and small. If you try to build an app with like a ton of bells and whistles and all the latest and greatest metadata systems, likely something won't be supported, at least as of San Diego, but we're trying to expand our metadata support every day.
Well, it's kind of like actions or script includes or whatever. If you keep them specialized, you have more reusability. If you've got this big honking application that does, hey, here's our complete warehouse management system, it's not likely a template at that point.
Right.
Is it fair to say that the app templates support about the same metadata as App Engine Studio supports? Is that?
We try to keep in lockstep.
Okay.
There's a few things, like I mentioned, decision tables. I think mobile is another one that I think we don't support, but AES does.
There's some things in Workspace too. We can do like a really basic workspace or a really basic portal, but if you get complex and add like AI search or some of the more complex features, we're still working on them.
I have nightmares about AI search.
Yeah.
And AI search is one that is complicated. I guess another best practice is, though, this particular use case is there's an existing application and maybe somebody has come to IT and said, hey, I want the same thing rolled out to me. But one of the things is if you are thinking about using an app template in order to roll out similar functionality to different departments or teams or customers, really look at the overlaps. What Jeff said about keeping it simple is good, but look at the overlaps, look at the things that are consistent and put those in your app template. And then you only have to focus on the major changes.
That's sort of a similar mentality to doing an extended table. You think about what's on task, state, assigned to, priority. Those are common among any task. So if you were making a template, you'd have that same mentality. What's common to all these things before you start getting into the weeds on what's specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a question. I created this from an existing app. How come I don't need to activate it?
So because you created it from an existing app and it is basically an exec going to create copies of that app, it's already active. You can deactivate it if you want. The other one, because you're adding stuff to it, we think the author we know that you're copying an existing app. In the other one, we know the author is building it, and there may be like stages that you want to add stuff. We're trying to make it easy here.
Also, we like to keep you on your toes.
See who notices. we put stuff in there like that. It wouldn't be the first time something's gone, why is this different for just me? Okay. I think we've got success on this one. I'm going to stop sharing this time intentionally.
All right. Well, we've got a few minutes. So before we jump into announcements, any questions on app templates while we have our experts here?
Corey's been playing along.
Yes.
He's very knowledgeable.
Good best practice from Lisa.
That's a good idea not to templatize apps with old technology like dozens of workflows or legacy things.
We will not let you templatize an app with workflows.
If it starts with WF underscore?
Yep, no way.
Good idea. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, no. Looks good. Looks good. Thank you, everybody. Let's go around and rate our beverages. Now that I can't talk anymore, I guess I'm first.
You're first.
The Firestone 805 Cerveza. Good stuff. I may have another one of these later. We were doing some karaoke and tacos and beer. So I'll take one of these unless somebody brings me something else I like better. I'm going to give this a 4 1/4.
I hear an instance logging something somewhere.
Yeah.
I got an app for that now.
I'll go next since I think I went next announcing it. By the way, I made about a little over half. So I think it gets a 4, to be honest. I love Speedway Stout. I like the regular one. The vanilla and cinnamon makes it a little bit tacky. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say about beer. Makes it a little sweet.
I totally get that with the stout. Yeah.
And for the Pure Project Valley of Abundance, I'm going with 4 1/4 as well. I really liked it. It's really juicy. It's a bit of a polarizing style, the smoothie style beer, but I love them and I'll drink them till my end of days.
How much did you drink? Is it all gone?
Oh, this is all gone. I've already started on my next one.
Nice. Nice. And I had the Founders KBS barrel aged. It's real good. I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5. So
all right, I want to remind everybody, CreatorCon is open for registration if you want to take a look at that. devlink.sn/CreatorCon. I don't think we had a chance to make a little title that goes on the bottom, but you can remember that, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Just gonna type one in now.
And we have a lab on custom app templates on exactly this for your company. So, and I'm working on the guidebook now. So sign up for it. It'll be awesome.
Now you know our time frame of when we work on things for CreatorCon.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. It's all happening right now. We've got lots of lab guides that are in progress, hands-on labs, and we're going to be in 4 locations. In case you haven't heard, this may be news to some of you. If you're watching this for the first time, CreatorCon is our developer event inside of our Knowledge Conference, and we've got 4 Knowledge Conferences around the world. May 11th and 12th is going to be New York and The Hague at the same time. The Hague is in the Netherlands. And then 2 weeks later, Las Vegas and Sydney. So Brad and Earl will be in The Hague and Vegas. I will be at New York and Sydney. So you're going to see some form of developer advocacy, developer program at these, as well as many of our wonderful product managers that help keep this ship afloat. And we look forward to seeing you there at one of those. If you can make it, you can make it. I know it's short notice now. We're running on a really short runway, shorter than usual. We're well aware of that and all the challenges it poses for us. We do have RPA content next week as part of our San Diego. It's over there.
What is RPA?
Huh?
What's RPA?
RPA is robotic process automation. We got a whole bunch of new toys from our acquisition of IntelliBot, and we are going to be building something next week on Live Coding Happy Hour. I believe Earl has that content. It allows you to create automation with applications that don't have integrations. That was a lot of words.
Yeah.
But let's say Excel. Okay, no real good way. There's no APIs to like this magical Excel website. I suppose if you use Office 365, you could kind of cheat and go that way. But let's take like an old .NET application that your company's been using for the last 25 years. I won't mention my former company. It has no API. Somebody's got to sit at a desk and bang on a keyboard and do a swivel seat thing. This allows you to automate those kinds of processes. Or, hey, we need AES 400 to do this thing as part of a flow. Good luck with that today. But now we have RPA Hub, and we'll be talking about that on Creator Toolbox and Live Coding Happy Hour, bringing you more information about that with product managers. We also have a podcast with Prasad Villamuri coming out on Wednesday the 6th. So watch for that. I just uploaded that this morning. So we're ready to go. Blog entry, lots of good stuff. RPA Hub. And then following that is what's the next week, Brad?
Mobile.
It's your week. You better know.
I was like, it's my week. What's the thing? It's mobile. We're going to do mobile that week. So yeah, tune in for the new mobile app builder and mobile card builder changes from the March store release. We'll see that. Back to RPA Hub. I'm really excited. Earl is running Live Coding Happy Hour next Friday. I'm kind of excited to see what sort of weird thing he does with RPA because I know it's going to be fun. So
I told him he needs to integrate with this software for reasons beyond our understanding. StreamYard doesn't have any APIs for us yet. They said it's on the roadmap. We're going to see what happens. But until then, maybe we could build this. But that's my idea. It's his show. He can drive.
All right. Well, I think that is all we've got today. Thank you so much for Kylan and Jeff joining us. Thanks, Chuck, for driving. And we will see everybody next week for RPA week. So, all right.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.